e benvenuto. My name is Valentina Stella and I'm a native Italian tutor. And in today's video, we're going to learn how to correctly say I know, I don't know in Italian. Now, what happens with some expressions is that if you literally translate them from English to Italian, you end up with a sentence that's not really correct or sounds weird to Italian native speakers. In some cases, they can kind of guess what you mean, but often that sentence just doesn't make any sense or say something completely different. And that's because a language is way more than just grammar, pronunciation, and vocabulary. Don't get me wrong, those are very important, and that's why we covered them extensively in this channel. But there's more than that, because a language is actually a different way to express concepts, to put those concepts into words. So that's why there are some tricky expressions, because the concept we express is the same as the one you want to express, but the phrasing, the choice of the words, the way we put that concept, that abstract concept into words is different. In our language, we express that concept differently. And this is the beauty of, the uniqueness of each language, because each language has a different way of expressing that concept, and that responds to the way, people in that language probably see life or express feelings or express concepts. That's where, the beauty of languages lies, at least in my opinion. So my goal with this series is to teach you those expressions so that you can actually say them correctly, you can be understood, but you can also actually sound like a real native Italian speaker. So let's start talking about these tricky expressions. Let's practice them, let's learn them and practice them together. And today we're going to start with how to correctly say I know, I don't know in Italian, because those are two of these tricky expressions. But before you do that, if you like this kind of videos, please give this one a thumbs up. And also don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you're going to be notified whenever I post a new video of this series or any other video to help you learn and improve your Italian. Okay, let's learn and practice how to say I know, I don't know correctly in Italian. So, if you want to say I know, well, let's start with the mistake. Let's start with the common way students, Italian learners go to translate this. What do? They just, translate literally. But unfortunately, with these expressions, that doesn't work. But what happens if you translate I know literally? Well, you have io so, or just so. That is literally correct, but in reality, it's not correct, because that's not how we say I know in Italian. So the correct way to say I know in Italian is that we actually say I know it, and we never ever miss that it. So in Italian, that looks like lo so. Repeat after me. Lo so. Lo so. This is the correct way of saying I know in Italian. So, if you want to say, do you know that Anna and Luca got married? And yes, I know, so something like this. That in Italian is sai che Anna e Luca si sono sposati? Sì, lo so. Repeat after me. Sai che Anna e Luca si sono sposati? Sì, lo so. Perfetto. Now, what if you want to say, I don't know? Again, let's start with the most common mistake, which is to translate this literally. If you do so, that's what you end up with. Io non so, or just non so. Well, that's again not the exact way we say that in Italian. So, in Italian, we say I don't know it. I told you, we never forget the it when talking about I know. So in Italian, that is non lo so. Repeat after me. Non lo so. Non lo so. Perfetto. So this is the most correct way you can translate I don't know in Italian. So, do you know where my keys are? No, I don't. In Italian, we actually say no, I don't know it. So again, it's different. The way we phrase this is different. So that's how it looks like in Italian. Sai dove sono le mie chiavi? No, non lo so. Repeat after me. Sai dove sono le mie chiavi? No, non lo so. Go, vai. Perfetto. So let's quickly recap what we learned today. We saw that some expressions cannot be translated literally from English to Italian. So we need to learn the correct expressions that make you sound like a native Italian speaker and make you understood by native Italian speakers. And today we saw two of those expressions. One is lo so and the other one is non lo so. And that's the correct way of saying I know and I don't know in Italian. Lo so, non lo so. Okay, as always, let's put this into practice. And a good way to practice something new that you learned immediately, to put that into action, is to reflect on what was your biggest takeaway. So what was your biggest learning? What was your biggest takeaway from today's lesson? And then put that takeaway into your own words. Write that down. What was your biggest takeaway? Then share that takeaway with a friend who's learning Italian, or more than one friend who's learning Italian. They say that teaching is the best way of learning something, so I want you to teach what you learned today to someone else who may need this, may find this helpful. By doing so, you're forcing your brain to pay attention to this, you're telling your brain that this is important, and you're actually making it your own. So think of your biggest takeaway, send it as a message to one of your friends who are who's learning Italian, and send them also the link to this video so that they can also practice this with us. Okay, that's all for today, guys. I hope you liked this video and found it helpful, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, have a great day. Buona giornata e a presto. Ciao da Valentina.